Today, we are discussing the reclamation of your most vital resource, your personal power. Most of us live in a state of constant, subtle energy leakage. We don't even realize, but we are outsourcing our identity every single day. We have outsourced our happiness to the weather, our peace to the stock market, our confidence to the number of likes on a screen, and our self-worth to the opinions of people who are just as confused as we are. Think of your energy like a vast, pressurized reservoir of creative potential. This is the power that manifests your reality. But every time you ask for permission to be yourself, you poke a hole in that reservoir. Every time you check someone else's face to see if you're allowed to be happy, you create a leak. By the end of the day, you feel drained, exhausted, and stuck. And then you wonder why your manifestations are slow. Why do you feel like a passenger in your own life? It's because you have distributed your power so thinly across the world that there is nothing left at the center to actually move the needle of your own life. Inner authority is not something you gain. It is what remains when you stop giving yourself away. It is the realization that you are the only one who has ever lived in your body. You are the only one who has ever seen through your eyes, and the only one who will ever answer for your life. When you stop looking for the nod of approval from the outside world, then you stop the leak. You become pressurized. You become coherent. And a coherent being is an unstoppable force in the realm of creation. Why do we outsource ourselves? It starts in childhood. We learn that goodness is defined by those outside of us. We are taught to look at the teacher's red pen, the parent's smile, and the peer groups for acceptance. We are trained to be high performance objects rather than self-governing subjects. By the time we're adults, this habit of seeking validation is so deeply ingrained, it feels like part of our personality. When we think that we're collaborative or sensitive, but often we're just terrified of the silence that follows when no one is telling us what to do. Seeking validation is a form of spiritual checking out. It is saying, I don't trust the infinite intelligence that is currently breathing my lungs, so I'll go ask my neighbor what they think instead. This is the ultimate insult to your authentic self. Every time you seek external confirmation for an internal knowing, you are telling your intuition that it's not enough. You are training your nervous system to stay in that state of high alert because your safety is now dependent on a billion variables that you cannot control. Personal power returns the moment you decide that your internal yes or no is the final word. It doesn't mean that you don't listen to advice. It means that advice is just data and you process through your filter of your own authority. You are the judge. Everyone else is just a witness. There are two primary pathways that we move through the world: as a beggar or a sovereign. The beggar moves through the world asking, do I look okay? Did I say that right? Are you mad at me? Am I doing a good job? The beggar is always hungry for the next scrap of validation. If they get it, it's never enough because it cannot fill an internal hole with external gold. The sovereign moves through the world knowing, I am here, I am clear, this is my movement, this is my truth. The sovereign doesn't need to be right. The sovereign only needs to be true. This is the identity shift that changes your manifestation. A beggar manifests scraps. They manifest situations that keep them in the position of asking. They manifest partners who withhold affection and bosses who withhold praise. Why? Because that is the frequency that they are vibrating. I am someone who needs. A sovereign manifests abundance. They manifest situations that honor their self-worth. They manifest people who respect them because they already respect themselves. They don't have to fight for their place at the table. They are the table. You have been playing the beggar because you were told that it was humble, but there is no humility in the hiding the light of the Creator. True humility is the absolute surrender to the truth of who you are. And the truth is that you are an individualized expression of divine power. When you stop outsourcing, you start standing. And when you stand, the world finally knows where to find you. One of the greatest fears people have when they step into their own inner authority is the fear of being wrong. They think, if I don't ask for advice, what if I make a mistake? Here's the secret. There is no wrong choice in the field of consciousness. There are only choices that lead to different experiences. When you outsource your decisions, you're trying to avoid the cost of being wrong, but in doing so, you lose the value of being right. When you make a choice from your personal power, even if it leads to a difficult outcome, you are strengthened by it. Why? Because it was your choice. You own the feedback loop. You can self-correct because you were the one who set the course. When you follow someone else's advice and it fails, you feel like a victim. You feel powerless and you blame them. And in doing so, you give them even more of your energy. Manifestation is a process of refinement. It's like a pilot flying a plane. They're off course 90% of the time, but They are constantly self-correcting. So to be a master of your own reality, you must be the pilot. You must be willing to make a mistake so that you can feel the sensation of your own internal authority, and it will redirect you. And that redirection is where the magic happens. That is where you learn the feeling of alignment. You stop being afraid of the wrong turn. Be afraid of the life where you never touched the steering wheel. Notice the people in the world who have the most personal power. They're rarely the loudest. They're rarely the ones over-explaining or trying to convince you of their worth. True authority is silent. It is the silence of a mountain. It is the silence of the sun. It doesn't need to argue for existence. Its existence is the argument. When you stop outsourcing yourself, you stop explaining. Explaining is a subtle form of begging. It's saying, please understand me so I can feel okay about my choice. When you are anchored in your authentic self, you don't need to be understood. You only need to be lived. If someone asks you why you're doing something, the answer is because it feels right to me. That is a complete sentence. You do not need a 5-point plan to justify your intuition. Intuition is the highest intelligence in the whole universe. It does not report to the mind's logic. As you cultivate this silence, you will notice that people stop questioning you, not because they agree with you, but because they can feel the density of your certainty. Certainty is the vibration. When you are 100% certain of who you are, there is no hook for someone else's doubt to catch on. You become a closed system of power, and that closed system, the pressure builds until your desires have no choice but to manifest in the physical world. You were not born to be a shadow of other people's expectations. You were born to be a source. The reclamation of your personal power is the most important work you will ever do. This is the foundation for your health, your wealth, and your joy. As you move through your gorgeous day today, I want you to notice every time you lean out and see if you're okay. When you are writing an email or when you're choosing what to wear, when you are even speaking your truth, feel that urge to check the other. And in that moment, I want you to pull your energy right back and say to yourself, I am the authority here. My approval is the only approval that's required. It will feel strange at first. It might even feel dangerous. But that's your ego. Keep going. The more you stay at the center, the more the world will begin to rotate around you. This is not narcissism. This is physics. The sun doesn't chase the planets. The planets are held in orbit by the sun's mass. If you're tired of chasing life and you're ready to start leading it, let's talk. Book a clarity call. Let's find where you are still giving your energy away and call that energy home. Join the Clarity Shift experience to stabilize your inner authority and live as the sovereign you are always meant to be. Download the free Clarity Shift guide. Let it be the tool that helps you stop the leak and start the flow. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the source of the power. Stop asking and start being. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. I intend this created clarity to live fully and freely with gratitude. I'll see you soon.